Hey friends, today's workout is a no equipment glutes focused workout, and we're going to begin on our mats in the center of the room. I'm stepping up to the very top of my mat just to give you some point of reference on our movements here. So as we step 1 foot back, it's not a big step. The ball of my foot is still on my mat, my heel is lifted, and I have a very slight forward hinge with my upper body. We're going to begin by creasing from the hips, taking the hips back and rise. Good, so as we do this hip hinge, think about the tailbone lifting as you take your hips back. We want to feel this in the glutes and in the hamstrings. So really pushing it back, lengthening those muscles on the back side of the body. And another thing to watch for is I'm keeping my knee right over my ankle. So I have very little movement here. Just think about taking everything back and we rise. Let's do a couple more. You have 4, 3, 2, 1 more. Good, let's take it back down. And then from here, we're gonna hold our hinge and then just the forward heel. We're gonna lift, tap it down. Keeping the neck in line with spine here, your gaze will be down at the floor, about 6 feet in front of your toes. So you wanna make sure we have this nice alignment in the spine. Trying to keep everything else still. Good, lift and tap. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, last one, and then we're gonna do a combo. So we're gonna rise, hinge, heel lift, heel down. Rise, lift, heel down. So moving nice and slowly, we're really focusing on our control. We're activating the deep core muscles here as we balance. Good, let's do 4 more. Nice and slow, slower than you probably want to. 3, 2, last one. We're gonna hold that heel lifted and then just a little tiny dip. Tiny dip. Feel free to bring that heel down if you need to. You can also hold your bar for this series if you want a little bit more support. Good, little dips. Dip for 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna bring the heel down and then this back leg, we're gonna do a small step behind our forward leg and then we step it back out, just below this hip. I'm trying really hard not to bounce or have any movement as far as like my head height goes. I'm trying to just move the leg. So there probably will be some movement. It's not easy, but that's one of my goals is to just move that leg. Try to keep everything else really still. For 4, 3, 2, last one. And then from here, make sure your weight is shifted back, check in, knee over ankle. And then from here, we're gonna press our back heel into the floor. You're gonna reach your arms up overhead. And then we're gonna sweep the arms back as we lift the heel and bend the knee. Ooh, nice stretch for the hamstring and the calf muscle on that back leg. So we're reach, finding some length in the body. We're elongating the spine out through the top of the head. Reach and lift the heel. Here for 4, 3, 2, last one. From here, we're gonna bring the hands in front of the heart. So hands to prayer, and then we're gonna shift our weight onto this forward leg and then tuck the toes under on that back leg. From here, we're gonna just do a little lift, tap the toes. We have a big bend in our standing leg and we're trying to keep our hips square. So both hip bones pointed straight ahead. Try not to allow this hip to open up. So keep everything pointed straight ahead. Lift for 4, 3, 2. Last one. Let's take the leg back up, and then from here, just a little tiny lift. Tiny lift. Knee is pointed straight down at the floor. We don't have any rotation in this hip. Tiny lift for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's step the foot in. We're going to take our opposite foot back. So that step is not very big. The ball of my foot is on my mat. My back heel is lifted, hands to the hips. And then we're going to begin by just creasing from the hips, taking the tailbone back, and also thinking about lifting the tailbone. Good, so not a squat, it's a hinge. We're thinking about really lengthening the back side of the body, the hamstring and the glutes. So we're really pushing the hips back. How are we doing? A couple more here. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Let's take it back down. So from here, just that forward heel, we're going to lift, tap, lift, tap. Nothing else moving. Shoulders relaxed and down. We're keeping the ribs pulling in. Good, let's lift the heel for 4, 3, 2, last one. We're gonna keep the heel up and then just a little tiny dip here, little tiny dips. Good, so my eyes are down at the floor, about 6 feet in front of my toes. Little dip for 4, 3, 2, and 1. From here, we're going to take the heel down, rise, hinge, lift the heel. Good. Remember, you can hold your bar if you need to. Good, let's do 4 more. 3, 2, last one. We're going to bring it back down, and then this back leg, we're going to step behind our forward leg and then step it back so it's straight under the hip. And I'm trying to only move this back leg. I'm trying to keep everything else really still and not bounce, thinking only about that lateral movement with the back leg. It's really hard, so there probably is some bounce, but I'm trying not to. Good. For 4, 3, 2, last one. And then from here, we're gonna sweep the arms overhead, extend your back leg, pressing your heel to the floor, and then we're gonna bend, lift the heel, sweep the arms back. So really pressing through that heel, elongating out through the top of the head, getting a big stretch. Keep that forward knee right over the ankle. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, 1. And then from here, we're going to take the hands to prayer. We're going to extend the back leg, placing the top of the toes on the mat, big bend in our standing leg, and then we lift and lower the leg. Good. So we don't have any rotation in the hip. My knee is pointed straight down. Lift and tap. Good, let's do 4 more. 3, 2, last one. We're going to take it back up, and then from here, just a little tiny lift. Good, stretch that leg as straight as you can. Try to keep the big toe in line with spine. Lift for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job, bring it up. We're going to come down to the mat. Lying down on our back, feet on the mat. We're gonna place our left foot on the right thigh, and then we're gonna just thread our hands around that right leg. Try to keep a neutral spine here, so we're not rounding and curling the tailbone under. Good work. Let's take one more breath here. And then we're going to slowly lower the leg down and switch. So keeping our neutral spine, keeping our tailbone on the mat as we lift. Drawing the leg in is going to intensify the stretch. If you need to make it more gentle, you can lower this leg down. So up to you. Good, let's do one more breath here. And then slowly release the leg, bringing the feet down to the mat. And then we're going to just roll over to our side. We're going to do some side lying work. So a couple options here for the upper body. If you want, you can keep your forearm down. I like to just rest my head in my hands, bringing my ribs down to the mat. So I'm lined up about along the back edge of my mat, and then we're going to take our legs, extending the legs, bringing the feet towards the forward corner of the mat. So my legs are slightly in front of my body. I'm going to lift my waist, keeping a nice straight line with the spine, and then hand can go down for support, or if you want a little bit more core work, you can take it behind the head. We're going to begin with just a leg lift and lower. We have no rotation in the hips, so your knee is going to point straight ahead. We want to feel this in the side of the leg. What happens here often is we start to get an external rotation. Your body's really smart and it wants to take the easy route. So when we have this external rotation, I'll show you what happens. The leg goes way up here. So if you find your leg going up really high, I want you to think about keeping your pinky toe lifted and your big toe pointing down, knee point straight ahead. That's going to get us into the right muscles here. We want to work the outside of the thigh and the outside of the glute. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, last one. And then from here, we're going to keep everything else really still. We're going to just press this leg back and then sweep it right over the bottom leg. Good, so we're trying to keep our hips stacked here. We're not allowing this hip to rotate or to open. So you're keeping both hip bones pointed straight ahead. Sweep for 4, 3, 2, last one, and then we're going to take the leg back. So my hip is an extension, my body looks like a Y here. This leg's back, we have this one forward corner of the mat, and then just a little tiny lift. So I feel the outside of my thigh, I feel my bottom leg working, I feel my glute, and then I also feel some back here too. I feel lower back working to stabilize. Very much a whole body exercise. Good, little tiny lift. Let's lift for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bend the knee. We're going to draw the knee forward right over the bottom knee, and then we're going to extend the leg back, bringing the body into that Y shape. And back. This whole workout should be called exercises that look easy but are not. I feel like that applies to everything we're doing today. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, last one. Let's hold it back, straight leg. We're going to rainbow. So we're going to lift and lower right over our bottom leg, and then we're going to take it back into that Y shape. We're stretching that leg as straight as we can as we move. We're trying to stabilize the rest of the body. We're here for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to take the leg back one more time so we're in that Y shape. Let's flex our foot. We're going to do a little internal rotation. So you're rotating your femur so that your knee points down, heel is lifted, little tiny lift up. Little tiny lift. So feeling this right where my glute meets my leg, little tiny lift. Let's go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job, friends. We're gonna come on up, take that leg and cross it over. Bottom leg, give it a little hug. We're gonna sit up really tall and then take your hand behind you, fingers point away, and then chin towards shoulder. Pressing both sit bones into the floor and elongating up through the top of the head. Good, let's take another breath here. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth. And then we're gonna unwrap the legs and we'll find our way down to the other side. Lining up against the back edge of the mat, supporting the head in the hands, and then straight legs are gonna go out towards the forward corner of your mat. We're lifting the waist away so that we get this nice long spine, hips in alignment, and then either hand on the mat for support, or if you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can go behind the head or on the hips. Pointing the toes, we're gonna begin with just a leg lift and lower. We're checking in here to make sure we are not externally rotating from the hip. So think pinky toe lifted, big toe points down, knee points straight ahead. Good job, everyone. Legs lift for 4, 3, 2, last one. We're gonna take that leg back behind us. So we're making that Y shape with our body, and then we're slowly sweeping it forward, and we're trying to minimize any movement in the rest of the body. So I'm really stabilizing to keep my torso from wobbling or shifting. Good, let's do 4 more. Nice and slow. 3, 2, and last one. We're gonna sweep the leg back. We have our body in that Y shape, and then just a little tiny lift. Little tiny lift. Good, so remember we're not allowing this hip to open. Both hip bones point straight ahead, top hip right over bottom, and then shoulders stacked as well. We wanna make sure we're not doing this. So try to keep your chest open. Little tiny lift for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's hold it here. We're going to bend. Draw knee to knee, bringing that leg forward, and then we're going to extend it back into that Y shape. You're probably noticing how hard this bottom leg is working to stabilize. When we switch sides, I noticed that this leg was already a little bit fatigued and sore. It's from the stabilization. So the entire body is working. And back. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, last one. Let's do some rainbows. We're going to take the leg up and over, and then back to that Y shape. Nice and slow and controlled. We want to come to a complete stop as we go forward and back. So we're eliminating any momentum, making our muscles work the entire time. Good, let's do 4 more. 3, 2, 1. We're gonna hold it here. Let's flex our foot so we still have that Y shape, and then we're gonna rotate our femur internally. So the knee points down, heel lifts, and then just a little tiny lift. Good, really press through that heel. Get a straight leg here. Try not to let your foot drop below your starting point, so just think up. Lift up for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great work, everyone. Let's come on up to seated. You can take that leg, cross it over your bottom leg, and then find the floor with both sit bones. We're going to elongate out through the top of the head and then place the hand behind you with your fingers pointed away, and then we bring chin to chest, chin to shoulder. Sitting up nice and tall, both sit bones grounded. Let's take a big inhale through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth. And then you can bring your head back to center, and we're gonna unwrap the legs. All right, friends, we're going to find a tabletop position. So walking the hands out so that the hands are directly below the shoulders and then the knees are right below the hips. Tucking the toes under and pressing into the mat. So we have these nice strong shoulders. We're going to think about lifting with our core here. So we're gonna pick up our knees. So we're gonna do a lift, lower the knees. Lift and lower. Make sure you're breathing. I like to inhale as I lift the knees, exhale down. Let's do 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna hold it up and then we're gonna extend our leg back, tap the toes, and bend it in. Try to keep your gaze out at the edge of your mat so your neck is in line with spine. Try not to look down and watch your moving leg. I always find myself doing that. So we're gonna step back, step in for 4, 3, 2, last one. We're gonna set that foot down and then we're gonna go with the opposite leg. We're gonna just lift, keeping the foot flexed, 90-degree bend in the knee. Feel free to bring your supporting side. You can bring your knee down if you need to, if you need a little break. For 4, 3, 2, last one. Bring it down, gently lower the knees, and then we're gonna come up and just circle the wrists. Good work, friends. So glutes focus, very much a whole body workout. So lots of shoulders with that one, lots of quads as well, and of course core. All right, we're gonna switch sides. So we're gonna walk the hands back out. So your hands are right below your shoulders. We have knees under hips, toes tuck under. From here, we're gonna do an inhale, exhale, and then on your next inhale, we're gonna lift the knees, knees tap. Lift and lower. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears. Lift for 4, 3, 2, last one. We're gonna take it back up and then we're gonna take the leg back and tap it in. Extend and bend. So I'm really pressing through my heel as I extend the leg. I'm keeping my foot flexed. I'm trying to keep my weight from shifting forward. I noticed my shoulders were kind of overextending my fingers. So I had to shift it back a little bit. So always be checking in. Good, let's do 3 more. 2. Last one. And then we're gonna replace the foot. We're gonna switch sides. So we're gonna take our opposite leg. We're gonna lift and lower. Keeping the foot flexed. We're not changing the bend in the knee. We're keeping that 90-degree bend. Movement coming from the hips. You got this. Let's do 4 more. Here's 3, 2, last one. You can set your foot down. We're gonna bring the knees down wide, big toes together, and then just bring your hips over your heels and walk the fingertips out. Good job, friends. You can rest your head on the mat if you want to. And then we're gonna walk the hands over to the right, placing the left hand on top, and then just gently push your left hip back behind you. Feeling a big stretch in the left side of the body and in the right inner thigh. One more breath here. And then let's walk to center. Walk the hands over to the left, placing the right hand on top, and then we gently press the right hip back behind us. Good, tailbone is pressing back. And then one more breath here. Let's walk our hands to center, and then you can slowly walk your hands in towards your chest, bringing your body up. Awesome work today, friends. I hope you enjoyed the workout, and I'll see you next class.